Good morning, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. So welcome, I'm pulling some cards and sharing some guidance for this week ahead, starting Wednesday the 8th of March through till Tuesday the 14th of March 2023. So while you're coming over, I want to send out an extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. I also want to send out a big thank you to all of those of you who have pre-ordered my new cards. Yay! 3 days to go until we launch these guys. So I've got Healing Energy cards number 2 and Healing Energy cards number 1 upgraded. So 3 days to go till these are launched. So thank you for pre-ordering, because these are very expensive to get printed. So your pre-ordering helps us help cover the printing costs. Doesn't fully cover, but it helps cover. So thank you so much. So I trust you're well and you're having a good day today. I'm coming to you live from Tasmania, Australia. It is Wednesday, the 8th of March here, and it's exactly 9:19 a.m. So if you're new to watching, welcome. What I'll be doing is using my other 2 decks of cards, my Speed of Light Oracle, and they've been combined with my Animal Kingdom Oracle cards. I'll be using these 110 cards to find the best cards that the majority of us need for this week ahead. I'm not pulling cards for individuals. This is general guidance for everyone. So I trust you've been led here for a reason, and I trust that something shared supports you at this time or at some point for the week ahead. So thanks for joining me today. Think of this as a guide only. Just take on board what feels right and what does resonate and fit into your life at this time, and let the rest go. So last week's theme was projection, which was about staying focused and avoiding distractions in the last week. So was that something that you've been doing? Hi, Jo Marie, welcome. Thank you so much. So I'm now I'm asking the cards actually. I would usually do this in my mind, but I'm asking the cards to show us, the majority of us, what we need to know for this week, starting the 8th of March through to the 14th of March 2023. So I find when I'm picking cards, I need to be really clear at this point, really clear and confident with why and what I'm doing with my card selecting. The more confident I am at this stage, then the more confident and clearer the cards will be that come up. So the best cards from the 8th to the 14th of March 2023 for the majority of us, and the best cards are, let's go with these. Hold on. Okay, let's go with these. I always split my deck, and I'm going to just duck down here and place the cards face down. We're going to have, I want to have 3 rows of 3. So we've got a box really. And we've got heaps of Speed of Light Oracle cards. So we've got 6 Speed of Light, 3 Animal Kingdom. So welcome. Hi Jasmine. Hi Kathy. Lovely to see you all. Thanks for joining. Let's turn these guys over and see what we've got. See if we've got any featured cards or anything. No, we're all just straight through. No dragons, no featured cards. So let's get started. So we start the top of our cube of 9 with this card for Wednesday. It's card 31 called Expression. And it says communication, listen, share, deliver, and trust. There might be something that we're organising, something we need to share, something we need to communicate. It feels more than just a few words, if you like. You know, sometimes we've got something we need to say to someone, but it feels like more than that, almost like we're organising or we're instigating something that requires bringing information together or bringing opinions together from other people or feedback from other people together. So it feels like we're gathering some information of some sort. So communication is the key for Wednesday. So let's get these things together. Communication kind of connects us. So when we shut down and we don't say what we need to say, or we don't put our opinion in to the works, or we take things too personally, or we censor what we're saying, it doesn't allow for good energy flow between us and others. And I'm thinking of groups, like a small gathering of people. It could be family, it might be in the workplace or in the household. But it would probably be connected with more than one person. And this, if we want harmony within this group, within this small group, we need to be able to communicate. We need to be able to listen, and we need to be able to not censor ourselves too much if we've got an issue, so that we can clear the air. So let's be careful that we're not censoring ourselves or having others feel that like they have to censor themselves. Let's be willing to let the communications be open and honest, and help keep the energy moving and keep us connected. Because when we shut down, when we censor, when we take things too personally, or we attack because we don't like what's being said, it does create a discordance in those connections and relationships. So let's keep that in mind as we start the reading week this week for Wednesday. Now for Thursday, the 9th of March, I'm going to do 2 cards for Thursday. We'll talk about the action-taking card first, the Dolphin. It's card 10, and it says, move on, horizon forward, and let go. This is about letting the old door close in our life so that the new door can open. And we probably know, some of us that have been perhaps moving towards the new, or we've been hovering on something that we didn't know really what we were going to do about. We might be becoming clearer these last couple of days, and especially on Thursday, about what we need to do. And it's quite highly likely that a door needs to close in our life, maybe a door we've had propped open for quite some time, or quite a few years. So we might be closing some doors, or really looking at how we do that, or keep proceeding with it so that we can open new doors in our life. And another way of looking at this card is about letting the sun set on old parts of our life that don't work for us any longer. They may have worked before, but they don't now. And as we let the sun set on those old parts of our life, then the sun can rise on the new parts of our life that want to come into our experience. There's a lot of action energy in this card, so Thursday feels quite proactive, and it works well with this card as well for Thursday. But there's a proactivity, a sense perhaps of tying things up, or closing things, closing accounts, closing things that line up with this closing door, so that we can start afresh and not have that's been partly closed, or that we know we've got to close but we haven't got round to it yet. So we haven't got that dangling and pulling us down, dangling in our energy like a sheep's tag. A sheep's tag. So action taking, movement, closing doors, opening doors. Also for Thursday, we have expanded love. This card came up the last 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure. It's card 24, and it says productivity, teamwork, and holding space. So this is a proactive, productive energy. It's about working well with other people for a common interest, or common reason, or common intention. So coming together with others potentially, but also this productive energy. So we've got this double amplification for Thursday about productivity, proactivity as well. Getting things done, tying up loose ends, being active and proactive in our life. And working together with others might be part of that for some of us. Okay, so we move then to Friday, the 10th of March, and we have card 42, the Tree Maiden. And the Tree Maiden says ending, surrender, growth, and illumination. So we have more endings coming up. It could be the same thing, but something's amplified on Friday potentially about endings, or something that needs to come to an end. So if there's an ending or something, a door that we need to close in our life that we've been avoiding because we might not really want that door to close, it may have been really fulfilling or really nourishing or a really great thing for us in the past, but maybe it doesn't really work now, but there's a part of us that holds on. that doesn't want to let this go for whatever reason. So the things that we need to let go of, but we don't want to let go of, so we don't, and we keep our foot sort of propping the door open, so we're not letting it close. Those things tend to get louder and louder and louder. The more we avoid them, the more we avoid what is not aligned with that situation and our highest truth. So if your highest truth, if you're moving on from that now, but a part of you is keeping it going, this part of your life or this old thing, could be a relationship or something as well. If so, a part of you is keeping that going for whatever reason, but your higher self is pulling you elsewhere, and you know that something just needs to end here. You sense it underneath, whether you've admitted it or not. You'll probably find this comes to a bit of a head potentially on Friday, especially if we haven't observed this on Thursday with that dolphin energy that's very actively closing doors, opening doors. If we sort of ignore that on Thursday, and we've been ignoring it for a while, we might find it amplified on Friday. So this card's about something being under the magnifying glass. It's about something being under the spotlight, and something seeming louder and bigger than what it probably really is. So something might be amplifying and growing and seem really huge and scary and overwhelming. It's usually to do with something that needs to come to an end. So let's keep that in mind if things sort of feel like they're blowing out of proportion on Friday. This is a period of growth, but it's also a period where things or a thing might be under that spotlight. It's trying to get our attention so that we can make changes or improvements about ourselves, our relationships, or our life in general. But there is a general feeling here about endings on Friday, something tying up, something completing, maybe that door that needs to close that is sort of on our mind at the moment, and especially Thursday and Friday. We move to the card right in the middle, so we've got 3 rows of 3, and right in the middle is this card for Saturday the 11th of March, and it's the Owls, card 35, and it says the power of observation. So we've been encouraged, especially Saturday, but in the heart of everything that we do this week, this reading week, is to observe, to pay attention, to listen. This doesn't necessarily mean not doing anything. It doesn't mean sort of sitting back and letting other people do things. There is already a general sense of activity and doing things, action, a movement in our life so far, moving up to Saturday. So it's not about not doing anything, it's about observing, and especially observing and waiting for the green light to turn on. So it's a bit like when we're at the traffic lights and the light's red and we're just waiting. And that's what this card is about. It's about sort of being at the stop sign and waiting for the road to be clear, waiting for the green light to turn on, and that perfect moment to take action or to move forward. So we can do things while we're waiting. We can tend to things, we can tie up loose ends, we can work out what it is that's the door that's wanting to close in our life. But let's not prematurely jump into going or proceeding with something that hasn't got the green light turned on yet. In fact, we probably won't really be able to push forward with something that doesn't have the green light. It's going to hit a bit of a brick wall until the green light turns on, and then we can, we've got, I guess, the permission in some ways to proceed, the permission to go. So this is observing, waiting, being at the stop light, waiting for the light to turn green so we can go. Now, Sunday, the 12th of March, we have card 34 called Healed, and it says golden light, wounds, blocks, and dissolve. This is a very physical healing card. It tends to be about the physical body. So for some of us on Sunday, and maybe in general over the weekend, we need to look after our physical body. Maybe we're not feeling the best, or we might be feeling under the weather, or we might be dealing with something in our physical body. So this is about making time on Sunday, if needed and if available, to look after our body. So it might be some TLC, some rest time, a nice pot of soup that you can put on for yourself or for your family, something nourishing, something good for your body is what's coming up with this particular card. And if you're also doing a lot of self-healing stuff, then there might be some stuff that's shifting in you in regards to your issues or your wounds or your fear or your insecurities or your limitations that may be sort of stirring up in these days that lead up to Sunday. So on Sunday may be an opportunity for us to look at our self-healing and how we can release those things that have been holding us back, releasing those issues, those wounds and the limitations that we've been carrying that are limiting us from diving fully into our life experience and all that encompasses. So healing on Sunday. Monday, what? The 13th. Monday the 13th of March. We'll look at these two cards for Monday. Monday the 13th, we have card 51 called Shelter. And it says to seek safe shelter. This feels a bit like a carry-on from Sunday's healing card. And it talks about sort of the safety, really the safety of the home. Now, it may not particularly specifically be your home, especially if you're not really comfortable or connected with your home right now. It could be your room, it could be a vehicle, it could be a place in nature. It might be somewhere where you like to go that you get a bit of reprieve, if you like. So it's your safe place of shelter is what's been highlighted here on Monday. And that this may be a continuation of a time of healing, a time of rest, a time of sort of getting your bearings, reconnecting with yourself and what's important moving forward. There is this feeling that feels really strong, a reconnection with what's most important to you at this time, and especially on Sunday, Monday. What are your priorities at this time based on what you're dealing with over Sunday and Monday or this particular week? So maybe writing in your journal, the things that you've got going on and the things that are a top priority. There might be other things that you'd like to be doing or that you should probably be doing, but they sort of drop down to the bottom of the list because these other things are more important. Like if our body's under the weather and we're dealing with something physically in regards to our health or our body, then that usually takes top priority because there are other things that just need to drop down while we tend to the needs of our body. So reshuffling things and reprioritizing may be important by the time we get to Sunday, so that we allow that time that our body needs or that we need for healing, rest and reconnection with what's important to us at this particular time. So especially on Monday, but we'll say Sunday as well. Also on Monday the 13th, we have card 29 called Creation, and it says Source, Uncoil, Light and Authentic. And this is about opening up and coming out of a tight place that we may have been in. So what I mean by that is I imagine like a snake all coiled up really tight. Maybe it's winter and it's hibernating, but it's all tightly coiled. And where within us, especially on Monday or lately, have we been feeling tightly coiled up? We might have even recoiled. We might have stepped back into ourselves. We might have withdrawn somehow as well and sort of stepped away from parts of our life or from society, from our family, from our friends. Maybe we've tightened ourselves and sort of retreated back for whatever reason. Maybe we didn't feel comfortable in these settings. Maybe something happened. Maybe things were said that made us sort of recoil and withdraw and step back. So there is this feeling with this card that if you've been feeling tight and sort of withdrawn, or that you've recoiled yourself back, that there is this option or opportunity on Monday to soften that tight coil or that sense of pulling back and softening that and start opening up again. So instead of being like that tightly coiled snake that's so tightly in itself and maybe in its own head, Have you been in your own head just thinking the worst or overthinking things in general and keeping things all private and quiet inside yourself, really tightly pulled back? On Monday, you're being encouraged, if you've been feeling that way, to soften that sense of tightness and holding on, and let things soften, let things open up a bit. Let yourself open up a bit. Let others in a little bit too, if needed, and if that's appropriate for you. Maybe there's some things that you can say, some air that you can clear, or maybe there's someone close to you, a support person that you can reach out to and say, look, you know, I've been really struggling with this particular situation or this particular person, and I need to we're coming back to that very first card, I need to talk about it, I need to get it out, I need to open myself up again, so that I stop pulling myself back and out of life. So that's the feeling here for Monday. So let yourself uncoil, allow yourself to open up, allow yourself to communicate if that's something that's important at this particular time or with that particular situation. So that's for Monday. And then Tuesday, the 14th of March, and we have the Ammonite card. Oh, actually, that's pretty funny. Card 38, and it says clearing private issues. There is a bit of a theme here, isn't there, really, that comes up? Well, actually, we could say it comes up from Friday, from the Tree Maiden, a time of healing and endings and illumination. And then we've got healing. Yeah, so there's a potential probably from Friday that we're going to move into big healing time for ourselves. The Ammonite for Tuesday talks about clearing private issues. So these are things that we have had coiled up and we've had going on in our own head and in our own body and with our own emotions that we've probably been keeping private and quiet. And that's fine. There are a lot of things we keep quiet and private, and we deal with things and we work things out. But we don't have to constantly be dealing with things either like 100% privately. So if there's someone, a support person that you can talk to, or a journal, your journal that you can write in to get things out of your head and get the energy moving, because that's what it wants to do. The energy wants to move. Now, the more we lock it up inside ourselves, whether it's emotion or thoughts or stress or whatever it might be, the more we lock it up like that tightly coiled snake. Reminds me now of like we lock ourselves in a cupboard that's really tightly compact and we can barely even fit in this cupboard, but it's locked, and we lock ourselves away and we lock all these things inside us, like what I'm feeling here, which is like that tightly coiled snake that I was talking about before. If we do that, we're not letting the energy move. We're basically locking it all up inside, and it just brews and brews, and it's a bit like water. Water wants to move. So if we have a puddle of water because we've had a big rain, and then we have no rain and the puddle just stays, it evaporates a bit, but then it goes all green and rancid and toxic. That's what happens if we keep everything locked up inside us. So even if it's just writing in your journal, if you don't have anyone that you can really confide in, or you're not really at that space, you can write in your journal and get the energy moving out. Unlock yourself so that you can keep the energy moving. So you get stagnant when you lock things up and when you're not listening completely to how you feel or what's happening for you. So if you feel locked up, if you feel like there's a part of you that's locked away, especially by the time we get to Tuesday, but probably Friday onwards, maybe think about how you can open up, unlock yourself. And the key, I can't help but feel the key comes back to our very first card, which is communication. It's about getting it out. It's expression. And it doesn't have to be blurting it all out to people, anyone that will listen. It doesn't have to be that. It can simply be just writing and writing and writing in your journal as a way of expression, expressing all that stuff you've got locked up. So you can get the energy moving. That's how you get it out. So this is about clearing those private issues and the things that you realize you've locked away and tucked away. Now, because I'm talking about this now on Wednesday, the 8th of March, And I'm specifically talking about this card for Tuesday the 14th, which is a whole week away. It feels like we've been given an opportunity in some ways to sort this out before it gets to Tuesday. So if you're feeling like you've locked a part of yourself away, or you're feeling withdrawn or tightly coiled, or you've got stuff going on that you're brewing and dealing with privately and quietly, and you're not getting any resolution, you're not getting a solution, it's not moving or progressing for you, you may want to be looking at this even today on Wednesday or whenever you might be able to look at that if you're inspired to. But I really feel that first card, expression, communication, is really the key. Listen to how we feel and express. Get the energy moving that you feel bottled up with. That's what the energy wants to do. Otherwise it just becomes toxic and rancid within us, the energy itself. So I trust that makes sense and resonates with you for this week. Lots of healing, personal healing, I feel. So thanks for joining me. I'm going to pull a theme card in just a minute. So thank you for being here. So we have a few things coming up. We have a lot of things coming up, actually. 3 days to my online launch of my brand new Healing Energy Cards 2 and Healing Energy Cards 1, the upgraded deck. So these launch in 3 days. Pre-orders are open. Please grab yourself a deck or two if you're inspired to. You can learn more on my website at templeofbalance.com.au. So that's happening Saturday, our online launch at the Healing Energy Cards Facebook page. There's going to be lots of giveaways and games happening all day long, mainly for people that have already pre-ordered, but also for some, there's some things that are happening for those that haven't. And next Friday, the 17th of March, is my next online art class. We're going to be, our theme is acceleration. So movement, action, activity, and also looking at the opposite. And my next card reading club is also happening on the 17th of March, next Friday. And our theme is our theme is finding purpose. So we're going to be exploring that. So I've used today my decks of cards. You can learn more about them. Grab yourself a deck or two on my website, templeofbalance.com.au. And don't forget, if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment, please share if you're inspired to. And if you'd like to connect more privately, please send us a message through our website. So let's look now for the best card for the theme. I'm feeling in general a theme around expression, expressing ourselves and what we've had bottled up. I'm also feeling quite the theme around personal self-healing. So shifting things, releasing things that we've personally been carrying or that personally stirs up for us this particular week. So a lot of that happening, and being patient while we wait for the green light to turn on. So let's look for a card that also wants to add to that. The best theme card for this week for the majority of us, that's the 8th through to the 14th of March 2023, is this. It's an Animal Kingdom. Well, this adds a nice light touch to the week. It's card 2, called the Butterfly, and it says simply joy. So let's firstly look at the butterfly. Transformation, personal transformation this week, and this really aligns with that healing theme and the expression theme as well, getting things moving. So transforming ourselves. We're not going to transform if we're locked ourselves away and we've got things tightly packed inside ourselves, and we're dealing and we're brewing and we're bitter and things are happening inside that we're not letting move. So we're not going to transform or let things free up for us if we stay in that state. And it's easy to stay in that state. That's the easiest state to stay in, is to keep being bitter, to keep keeping things bottled up and brewing up inside us, to keep the anger and the frustration inside. That's easy. But it doesn't really work for that long to do that, because things just brew and brew. We become like a volcano getting ready to explode. And and it will explode as rage or something like this, or health issues as well. So if we can, let's let ourselves transform. Let's let ourselves heal and release and change this week. We have to be willing to change. That's what transformation is. We have to change that habit of locking things away. We have to change that habit of putting people, creating a distance between us and others. If your relationship is difficult and not working at this time, have you been pushing the relationship away? Have you been holding things so bottled up inside and you've not had this communication thing, this expression thing happening? So we need to be willing to change if we want to heal. And we need to own and take responsibility for our role in these relationship issues, or our role in the difficulties that we're facing in life. It seems to be so prevalent at the moment, is this accusing and blaming other people and not taking responsibility for ourselves and throwing other people under the bus, instead of saying, well, hold on, I did something wrong, I own this, I'll fix this. And this is what is a real big problem at this time, just in general. It's almost driving me batty, is seeing all this stuff playing out where people aren't taking agency for themselves. So we need to take responsibility, we need to take our power back, and we need to be willing to change and transform. So the butterfly brings that this week. Potentially, if we let ourselves move into that space, it's up to us. And the butterfly brings joy. It brings simplicity. When things are locked up and tucked away and bottled up inside us, things are complex. Things are overwhelming. It's difficult when we're in that space, and we've been in that space for a while. Things are toxic and complicated and complex. It doesn't have to be that way. So let's let things move. Let's let our hold go. Let's uncoil ourselves. Let's be willing to change, so that we can simplify things and find beauty and things to be grateful for around us again. Because it's very difficult to see that the more bottled up and locked away we are. Things, we see the world and we see others through bitter, wounded eyes, and it's not nice. So if you want to enjoy the sunrise again, if you want to stop and smell the roses and see the beauty and the things to be grateful for around you, that also might be an incentive to let your guard down, let your hold go, unlock yourself, free yourself up, be willing to change, be willing to heal, be willing to transform so you can become a better version of yourself, and not compared to others, but maybe in comparison to who you used to be or the person that you want to be. So quite a beautiful card here, and it adds a lightness to the whole week. As well, potentially for us, is the butterfly card. So can you notice this butterfly energy around this week, and what can you do with it? Can you let it inspire you to get the energy moving? So big healing week, I feel. Take care. Have a great week ahead. Thanks for connecting today, and I'll see you again maybe on Saturday during our online launch. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.